Believe what God says about you will make a whole lot of difference in your life. What are you running away from? What are you hiding? Shame, pain, guilt, condemnation? What is it that you cannot let go of? What is it that you cannot have compassion on yourself? What is it that is stopping you from being the best version of yourself? Today, I want to talk to you about a woman in Samaria. As I was studying the Bible in John, I'm going to be looking at my Bible. In John 4, from 1, it talks about Jesus moving from one city and going to another city. And on their way, the disciples decided to go and get some food. And Jesus went by himself and sat near a well called the Jacob's well. And while he sat there, it's amazing because most times we feel like God is out to get us. When we talk about God, many say, oh my God, I can't because I've done so many things, or so many things have happened to me and I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I can't be seen. I rather run away from God than run to God. And that's what many of us do. And this story just captures it. It just shows how Jesus is so interested in you. How Jesus is so interested in your well-being. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter what you have been through. It doesn't matter what you did or what anybody did to you. And there comes a Samaritan woman who came around noon to get some water from the well. And while she was getting water from the well, Jesus said to her, Can I have some to drink? And the woman was like, were you talking to me? Right? Are you talking to me? I am Samaritan and you are Jew. We have no relations. And Jesus said, just paraphrasing, Jesus said, if you know who is asking you for water, you ask him to give you water instead. Because this water, this physical water is temporal, but the water that I give is eternal water. And what that struck me, because when I was meditating and sitting down, I'm thinking about this. Many a times we run after temporal things. We are trying to hide behind our drinking and our socializing. We are trying to cover up the things that we have been through. So we gather ourselves with people that we call friends that are not really friends. I don't want to be there, but I don't want to be alone. So I might as well stay there instead of trying to sort out my issues, trying to figure out the things that I've been through that have affected me. Yes, sometimes we need a minute to sit down and acknowledge our pain. We need a minute to sit down and assess ourselves. What happened to me, I didn't like it. What they did to me was not good. I am hurt, I am pain. I'm acknowledging the things that I've been through, because that's the only way I can move forward. When we talk about defense mechanism in psychology, so many times we put up our defense mechanism. We blame other people. We live in denial. And that does not help. We can't continue to live in denial. We cannot continue to live in denial because there's so much on the inside of you. The wall is waiting for you. There's so much God has put in you that you need to shine. The Bible says, arise and shine. Arise and shine from that depression. Arise and shine from that anxiety. Arise and shine, for the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. So going back to the woman, the Samaritan woman said, give me this water that you're talking about, just so that I can drink and never get thirsty again. I just want to talk to you about Jesus. He changed my life. I cannot teach any other way. I cannot encourage you any other way. I cannot help you any other way if I neglect Jesus, if I don't tell you about the one that has delivered me from my own issues. Just like the Samaritan woman. After Jesus finished with the Samaritan woman, she was excited, she ran. Before then, she was gloomy, she was miserable. She will go to fetch water when no one is around, when no one is around to judge her, when no one is around to point fingers at her, when no one is around to remind her of her past, when no one is around to tell her that you're not good enough. Look at, not only are you not married to this man that you are with, you had 5 other men that you keep jumping from one place to another. And Jesus was able to recognize this, and Jesus was able to address it and say, yes, I know. When Jesus said, go and call your husband, and the woman said, I have no husband, Jesus said, yes, that's right. And even the fight that you had in the past, they were not your husband. What are you running away from? You are good enough. So many people associate themselves and having relationships that do not serve them. So many people are stuck in abusive relationships that don't serve them, but because they feel like this is all I need. If I leave him, if I leave her, who am I? I'm nobody. Who says you are nobody? So the Samaritan woman left her jar and went and started telling everybody in the village about Jesus. You are not a nobody. You are precious. I just want to share a little bit of my story because I relate with the Samaritan woman. I relate. In the last episode, I talked about the crippled mind. I was one that was crippled in my mind. And I remember growing up and starting to have relationships because I was seeking for love, seeking for all of these things, validation and so on. And I started a relationship when I was 17, and by 18, I got pregnant. And then the weight of guilt and shame and condemnation began to sink in, and I began to think, oh my God, what if my stepmom knows about this? That means everything that she has said about me that were not true now has become a reality. Oh my goodness, what if my dad heard about this? How would he look at me? And the weight of the guilt and the shame became louder that I could not hear anything else. And the only option I thought I had was abortion. And I did. I had an abortion at 18. And then I thought, okay, at least hush. Nobody's gonna know now. Under the carpet, only me, right? Nobody will judge me. Nobody will look at me different. Nobody will point their fingers at me. Just like the Samaritan woman. Just like some of you now. If I only try to look happy, you are smiling when you are out. Or when you go home, you are under your duvet, crying yourself out, feeling rejected. But everybody sees you and they see, oh, she's always smiling. She's always happy. He's always smiling. I was there. People look at me and they think, oh, Michelle cannot hurt a fly. I was always smiling and happy. But deep down inside, I was breaking pieces by pieces. And I didn't know how to come out of it. I was weighed, so much weight with depression, and I didn't know. Some days I didn't want to get off my bed. I was down and I was out. But Lord, just like Jesus said to the Samaritan woman, the water that I give is living. When you lay down your burdens, He will lift you up. He will lift you up. He did. He did with me. He lifted me up when I didn't know what to do. He held my hand and says, Michelle, I created you. I'm the one that got you started. I know what you have been through. But I'm going to use your mess and turn it into a message. I know it feels hard right now. It feels overwhelming right now. But if you just lay it down, if you just lay it down at the feet of Jesus, He will lift you up. In the book of Matthew, I believe Matthew 11:28, He said, come all of you who are burdened, I will give you rest. In the MSG version, I love it. It talks about walk with me, come keep company with me, and I will show you how to truly live, how to truly take a rest. Jesus is calling you. He said, come, no more hiding. No more hiding, no more running away, no more depression, no more anxiety, no more fear of the future, no more. I am here to hold your hand. Jesus is here to hold your hand.
I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. I know who